Hello there, Evie here. So this video represents a huge milestone for any small channel that is trying to be more than just a small hobby on the side and looks more of their channel like a very serious hobby, or even to some people a part-time job, and to some people it turns into a full-time job. But I certainly look at this channel in terms of driving and running the channel as a part-time job. I put the hours in to that degree, and I do want it to be more than just a little hobby, something that's a little bit more self-sustainable. And this video is very largely about that. It's actually extremely relevant to that sort of goal. First things first, I'd like to thank all the subscribers who've been subscribed for a very long time, everyone up from back then up until now, and everyone who has subscribed very recently in the last week or so that has tipped the channel over to 3,000 subscribers. That is a huge milestone for any small channel that's trying to grow to some sort of degree. Subscribers don't mean a huge amount these days in terms of a lot of things actually. In fact, most things. It's not really a very useful metric all round, but it's something that I certainly take pride in, and it certainly reflects on the channel's growth over the years, and it reflects in the channel's importance in some people's eyes to deem the videos good enough for them to want to see more from, say, that particular creator, and in this regard, this channel. So a huge thank you to you guys, and on with the main core part of this video. So, about just over a month ago, on the 15th of January 2019, I was contacted for the first time. This is the first milestone that this channel has hit, or, well, a milestone that this channel has hit for the first time, which is how milestones work. I was contacted by a member of the PC sort of manufacturing community. I was contacted by the new head of the marketing division for SilverStone in the UK. I had an email sent to me at 7 o'clock in the morning titled something along the lines of, "Are you interested in reviewing SilverStone products?" And I was, for a start, I was very excited, and once I got past that initial stage, I was very skeptical. Anyone can grab any details online and then mimic themselves or impersonate someone else and tell people that they are someone that they're not, and then try and get, I don't know, all sorts of information that they otherwise shouldn't have through illegitimate reasons. So I did my research, running around trying to find information about the company and this person in terms of their company structure, and I got to a certain point where it turns out comparing email addresses with ones that I've had communications with from SilverStone in the past, and some other information from LinkedIn and that sort of thing, I deemed this person to be relatively legitimate. After a few days of communication, there were some products that were mentioned, and saying I would, they recommended a case and an all-in-one liquid cooler to start with, and they said those would be a great start, and they're a great budget option, and a lot of people would be interested in those, so we'd like you to start with those as a beginning. There was no mention of anything in the future, but just for a beginning, that's where we're going to start with. So before I get ahead of myself, before we get into a lot of the details, let's go straight into an unboxing. Full disclosure, the box you see now and the products I'm going to present to you now have been sent by SilverStone to me directly for free as review samples. I've not paid a penny for these, and as such I need to mention that. I will also be mentioning that in each of the videos that these products feature in their individual reviews and that sort of thing. So anyway, along with that, let's continue with the video. I did this unboxing a few days ago. I'm a bit time sort of condensed at the moment. There are a lot of things going on in the background. Other than the channel as well, there's been some busyness like car issues and things like that I've been having to run around and sort out. So we're going to go to an unboxing that I did a couple of days ago, and then I'm going to go into a more sort of in-depth description of what I have received from SilverStone. So actually, let's first start off things with a huge thank you to SilverStone for being confident enough in this channel to represent them in a manner that they would like to be represented, let's say. And yeah, the person who contacted me themselves actually said that they've been watching the channel for a while now. From my records of what I've been able to see in terms of engagement from this person, it was at least a month before they contacted me. And yeah, they were happy with what they saw, and they were confident in sending samples out. So a huge thank you to that person in particular for having confidence in this channel, SilverStone as a brand for signing all that off, and yeah, I'll get now into what they've sent me and my ideas for what I'm going to use them for in the future. Oh Jesus. Oh, it's still picking me up. Hello? Okay, hello. Right, yeah, the box is quite large. It is just shy of 1 meter long, and it's over half a meter wide and about half a meter tall-ish. Not so much half a meter tall, but it is a large box. So I'm going to dump this over there. It came with SilverStone tape, which I'm going to dump this over there, and I'll go through the individual items that have been sent to me and why they've been given to me and what I plan to do with them. So 2 seconds. Oh yeah, it would kind of be a little bit redundant to do an unboxing without you actually seeing any unboxing, so... Okay, that should stop anyone complaining. Right, I'm going to place this over here. You know what, even I'm not interested in not showing you guys this. This is pretty damn cool, so I'm going to do a sort of unboxing thing here. Because I opened this, I saw this immediately, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? Also, I'm wearing joggers. I'm sorry about that. That was just... Timing-wise, I'm sort of a little tight. But anyway, so... There's a box for a tower. Have they just sent me packaging? Right. Okay, there's a lot of packaging in this box. So, one thing to note, actually, is that this box actually weighed 14 kilos. Quite a hefty piece. But anyway, so, okay, first things, actually, I'm going to go through this stuff. You can see kind of what's here. It's kind of jam-packed now, so I'm going to go through this and put it on the desk and we can have a little bit of chat about it. So, first thing that they recommended was this. One of the 2 things they recommended was this. It's the Precision PS15. It's a micro ATX case with a tempered glass side panel and a fully filtered front panel with like some sort of mesh filter. I haven't actually looked into it much myself. That's what I do with when I review anything. I look at it, look at some specs and think, right, that sounds good to me. I want to know what it's made of, and I want to know how it's constructed and what it's like to build in. I don't really look any further than that because, I mean, why? I'm going to be reviewing it. I may as well look into it when I see it first time. So, those are the general specs. It's got a top I/O. It's pretty standard in terms of setup, other than, you know, the particular bits I've mentioned now. So, a couple of things that really jumped to me. Above that, the tempered glass side panel is something that I recommend to anyone because plastic scratches too easily, and the full front ventilation at the front seems really attractive to me as a feature. But this also does make, or appears to make, good use of 2.5-inch drive space to the back of the motherboard tray. Couple of positions there. There's great cable management loops here. I think there's a series of 12 down the side of the sort of opposing side of the motherboard tray, which just to me sounds like it makes sense out of any case, and it should be the case in most cases, but yeah, this seemed really interesting to me. It seems like an open box, so there's no basement or anything like that, so that might not be to some people's liking, but as far as I'm concerned, this is right up my alley. It's a budget unit. It retails around 40 to 50 pounds, your regional equivalent, of course. So yeah, that seems super interesting to me, and I was more than happy to say yes to that. Basically, when they said, we recommend trying this, if you have any suggestions, things like that, I was just like, yes, thank you very much, I'll take anything you give me, and as long as it's relevant to the channel. That's one of the rules, actually. Something to go over now, actually. There are rules to this review, and I say that being very... arrogant maybe perhaps in saying that, because the rules are very relaxed. So first rule is that I can say whatever the hell I like. It doesn't matter. They want me to be very open and honest, and that was their intention from the start. They said they don't like it when we, as a consumer, or this person said they don't like it as a consumer when they see videos that are just pure shilling, and there's no negatives and criticism added in because it doesn't help the industry as a whole. It just sort of hides things. So fully respectable there. Actually, that one was the second rule. The first rule, which was straight out of the gate, is that I have to make it very clear that SilverStone sent these to me for free. I'm actually going to put it at the start of the video as well, or when I start sort of naming things, because I forgot to mention it off the bat. These aren't the reviews, but I need to make it explicitly clear that these were sent to me for free. I did not pay for anything. They've been sent by SilverStone. So that was the first rule. The second rule was I can say whatever I like. There's no restrictions or anything like that, because they don't like that. And the third rule is that he said we, as in the two of us conversing, that we check that the products being sent are relevant to the channel, because we don't want to send anything that is going to be irrelevant. That is pure shilling, essentially. Something that it has no connection to the channel whatsoever, and it's just doing it because it's free. So yes. So those are the rules. Second product that was sent was this. This is the SilverStone TD02 RGB all-in-one liquid cooler. It's a 240mm liquid cooler with RGB fans. So yeah, they did say that they hadn't seen me review anything like that and asked me whether I'd be interested in that. But this is something I have been interested in reviewing for a while. It's one of those things where it's difficult to get around to when you're doing CPU cooler reviews, sort of air-cooled ones, you're doing case reviews, and you need to fit time in to do one of these as well. It's sort of like a radiator review in a sense. It becomes difficult. Now with this, unlike the PS15 where I'm looking to do a straight review like I do, because I think that's the most useful way of doing that, I'm looking to compare this against, in terms of performance, and we can mention price as well, against a custom water cool loop for say a CPU. Obviously the price to performance is way out of whack for say a all-in-one a custom loop. But this would be interesting to compare the performance of one of these things, because I have never owned an all-in-one liquid cooler. I went straight from air cooling to water cooling. So anyway, that was the second one, so I'm looking to do something like a comparison between, or something I want to do overall in the future is have 120mm thin coolers, or 120mm thin rads, 240 and 360 and 200mm rads. I want to compare all of those together against lots of all-in-one liquid coolers and see where the performance lies in them. Just out of pure interest, it's one of those things that I'm interested in, archiving lots of information and seeing where things stand. Anyway, that wasn't the end of things they sent me. They also said, would I be interested in having a power supply unit to run for testing all the things that I test out, something like the Strider Gold S series 750 watt power supply unit. It says on the box that it is the world's smallest fully modular ATX power supply unit. And I actually think that's still true. I'm not sure when this came out, to be honest, but I think that's still true, because looking around a while back, I was looking at really small ATX power supply units with regards to the Colink satellite review, and one of the smallest ones I could find, I think in ATX factor, was a 135mm semi-modular power supply unit from, I think, Corsair. Might have been someone else. Anyway, this is fully modular. It's 140mm deep, which is tiny. I've got an SFX power supply unit, so completely different form factor, much smaller, and that's only 100mm deep. Difference between where you'd go between one and the other is most likely temperature and noise control. That SF600, which is on my shelf back there, you can't see, does get quite noisy under load. This would deal better. It has a larger fan, and apparently it's extremely quiet and goes up to 18 decibels, which is, from memory of other ones, is pretty damn quiet. I was also sent by Ben Cross, who is a subscriber of the channel, a gold, what is it? It's a G3, 750 G3, G3 750 EVJ power supply unit. It's an 80 plus gold rated power supply unit, and he did legitimately want to send that to me for free, for absolutely nothing. So we settled on a price, and then he sent that along with, I think it was 8 Varda fans, which I use loads of, and we discussed those previously about me using them, that sort of stuff, and he just sent pile of his ones because he was changing his out and wanted to support the channel. So now I have a wealth of power supply units. I have 4 in total, one that I really don't want to use much more, which I will probably be using in a permanent build with regards to a NAS or security build or something like that in the coming future, hopefully towards the mid to end of this year. But anyway, to keep the video shorter than it otherwise would be, let's move on. Also, huge thank you for sending that. That is a huge deal. I'll be able to use that with larger mini ITX builds and micro ATX builds. Nothing small in the mini ITX build department though. An SF600 will be required for that. But because that's so small, I'll probably be able to get away with it. And then on the larger builds, so micro ATX and larger and things like that, I can use the EVGA one, and I will very rarely use my 180mm long Dark Power Pro, which is 180mm long, and I really don't understand why it's so big. Anyway, moving on. Towards the end of our sort of communication, before the details and that sort of stuff were exchanged, they also said, well, we'll also throw in some RGB fans. So they said, here are a couple of addressable RGB fans, 120mm fans, which are relatively new to SilverStone's lineup. So addressable RGB fans, you can essentially control the individual fans around the fan, or the individual LEDs around the fan, to get whatever sort of color variants you like, and you can match things up. They also said, do you have a motherboard that can control those? Because that might be a little difficult if you don't. And I said, unfortunately, I'm Z170 here, so that wasn't quite in check there. So they said, okay, we'll send you over a controller as well. And yeah, so this is a controller with a remote, and yeah, that to me is just absolutely perfect. So that's the sort of thing I can use for B-roll. I haven't had any, there hasn't been any notice that I specifically need to review the power supply unit, which I wouldn't do anyway, or the fans, which I probably won't review, but maybe in the future when I get into the fans and that sort of thing. But yeah, for now, it is all they've done is sent me a case to review and an all-in-one liquid cooler to review. So round off the SilverStone piece. Thank you so much, SilverStone, for having faith in the channel, that they can represent you correctly, and yeah, I suppose represent correctly is a difficult one. I still have a job to do here. If there are things like in the RVZ03 review, such as spelling mistakes in the manual and that sort of thing, I'm gonna call them out on it. This is not something that I'm not gonna give up on my principles of why I sort of started the channel. I want to make some of the most in-depth reviews possible on the internet for the components that I review, and that's the target goal. I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity or the channel's integrity or anything like that just for the sake of getting free stuff sent. I'm very certain that SilverStone respects that, hence why they said that there's no clause defining what I can and cannot say, or I have to and cannot say, and yeah. I was also at this stage going to mention something else that I'm going to be involved with, but for NDA reasons I can't. So at this point I will have to leave it at that. I'm going to do my absolute best to serve you as the viewers right, and create content that I do feel is very valuable with regards to anything that is sent to me, and yeah, so I'm not in the market for shilling, as is, I suppose, most people. At least I hope so. So anyway, that's that. I hope that wasn't too long for you guys. I know I drag on for hours, I get distracted, I talk about certain things off topic, and then I come back to the topic and then maybe overlap myself. I'm going to try and, or will have tried to have done my best to eradicate that. I have actually recorded this twice on a different day, hence why I was in different clothes the other day during the unboxing, because I wanted to do something better than what I came up with first time. It does take me a good few attempts to be able to get one of these one-on-one sort of, just me and the camera sort of things done right. So anyway, a huge thanks to you guys for the support. Thanks again to SilverStone for supporting the channel in this way. I hope you really enjoy the reviews that come out with these products, and I hope they come across as 100% legitimate and 100% honest, because that is my intention. That sounds a bit dishonest to say that. I hope they come across as honest, because they're gonna know. I hope they come across as honest because that is my goal, my intention, my target, my aim. Something like that. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I will catch you in the review of the PS15, which I'm planning to do start tomorrow, and hopefully have that out in about 10 days or so. I'm going to try and make it before 2 weeks and try and get everything, every major review done in about 10 days. So, cheers, guys. Catch you then. Bye-bye.